Have you seen these numbers comparing a rookie contract in the WNBA versus the NBA, and you're like, what the
Do you think that Caitlin Clark deserves to play in the NBA and make an NBA salary? Obviously, yes. And no, Joe Schmo in the comments, you cannot beat her with your high school level basketball skills, okay? Women made sports history this month, thanks to women on the UConn and Iowa basketball teams who drew 17 million viewers, the most ever in ESPN history for the past 30 years, and that includes NBA and men's college basketball. The great news for women's sports is that it goes to show women deserve to make just as much money as men. The argument that female athletes don't draw an audience is dead. The gender pay gap continues to exist despite women being just as profitable.
Oh my God, stop lying.
The lies these flamingos tell, that's why you can't believe them. She just said the WNBA should be making more money because they're just as profitable as the men. I know we're not talking about the same WNBA that's never turned a profit.
Oh my God.
Not the same WNBA that's been losing $10 million per year and that's been subsidized by the NBA.
And again, you know, we're what, 26 years young, so it's not like we're comparing ourselves to the NBA, but I do feel like the pay gap would be something that, you know, we could just take a donation around the NBA maybe one night y'all don't go to the casinos.
I have something on this though, because it pisses me off. It pisses me off because I don't think there's anyone in America that supports the WNBA more than NBA players.
100%.
The NBA players support the WNBA like
the most.
More than we probably support the NBA.
Caitlin Clark will earn $76,535. In the second year, Caitlin Clark, the number one pick, will earn $78,066. In the third year of her contract, she'll get $85,000, and in the final year, she gets $97,000.
Right.
This is what the number one player, who's now at the WNBA, who's already filling stadiums, and they know it because they're already selling out.
And had better ratings in the Final Four.
Right.
And these feminists are so disingenuous. Selling out what tickets, Hoda? I know you're not talking about those $15 WNBA tickets. Please stop. And the viewers of NCAA women's basketball is not going to translate to the WNBA for many reasons. It's not the same.
And I understand people are going to tell me about math. And
We understand
the WNBA didn't, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yes, simple arithmetic, because men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
I don't care about math now.
Okay, now
Translation, she can care less about the truth. Only thing she's worrying about right now is her emotions.
please tell us what a man who's the number one draft pick gets paid.
Now here's the other lady with more baby bot bimbo babble trying to compare the number one draft pick of the NBA to the WNBA. No, please tell us how much profit the WNBA made versus the NBA. They're so dumb, they're just embarrassing themselves.
One draft pick in the NBA.
Yes.
A number one draft pick, you know, first year, $10 million.
The gap is so jarring.
It's jarring.
10 million to 78. It's so jarring, the discrepancy. When we're talking about equal pay, that ain't even close.
You know what else is not even close? The $10 million WNBA loss every year versus the billions of profit generated by the NBA. See, this is why they don't want to discuss the numbers. They just want to throw out these crazy statements with no logic behind them and get all the Mickey Mouse characters riled up on TikTok.
Okay, yes, please be enraged by Caitlin Clark's salary, but also be enraged by Brittany Griner's salary and Brianna Stewart's salary and Sabrina Ionescu's salary and Asia Wilson's salary and Aaliyah Boston's salary and Nneka Ogwumike's salary and Candace Parker's salary.
This is an atrocity. This is sad. This is not acceptable. It's like I just found out about this today. Nobody has said anything to me. Why?
And you know, like, the wage gap is, like, really bad. You know, like, we need to fix it because, you know, yes?
Shut the up. Ain't nobody trying to hear that.
The salaries of the WNBA players have been known for years, but all of a sudden, this is the year that people want to have selective outrage about the pay gap. Shut the fuck up.
I think they're trying to give us all the Indiana fever with this irrational conversation. I don't understand all this whining over a league that never turned a profit ever, going all the way back to its inception in 1997 to present day 2024. This charity league, the WNBA, never, ever, ever made a profit. Let's make that clear. And while a bunch of these flamingos are yapping about what they think the NBA isn't doing and how this is somehow the men's fault that women don't support the WNBA, that argument is completely wild, by the way, when the WNBA wouldn't even exist without the NBA. For one, the NBA allowed the WNBA to form in the first place, and the players of the NBA have collectively subsidized the WNBA for well over a quarter of a century. And even now, they're still breathing life into the struggle Mickey Mouse League like they've been doing for decades. NBA players even personally donate money to these women. Players like Kyrie Irving donated money towards their salaries during C-19. And I remember talking about that when Kyrie was going through all that controversy. I talked about how those women he supported during their time of need, they were not coming out for him during his time of need. Nowhere to be found. And I always talk about these feminist journalists like Malika Andrews and Molly. They're over there at ESPN, so concerned with women's rights that they fight to cover the NBA and talk about the men's stories every day instead of following the WNBA. But now all of a sudden all these people are crying and throwing tantrums over the low salaries of this non-existent profit charity league.
Breakout college hoop superstar and number 1 draft pick Caitlin Clark just signed with the NBA's Indiana Fever for, and are you ready? $76,000. In fact, listen to me. Listen to this, because if you thought that was some way to hear this. The entire Fever payroll is $1.2 million.
Less.
That is less than the minimum salary for a single NBA player with a year's experience.
Once again, they're not given the full financial scope, and their only goal here is to trigger the audience.
So the women have the headlines, they have the fans, they have the viewers. When the hell are they going to get paid?
Funny how she compared them to the NBA, but she didn't say they had the ticket sales or merchandise sales equivalent to the NBA. It's the reason why they're allowed to get on national TV and tell these lies. The WNBA, they do not have the headlines, they do not have the viewers, they do not have the fans, which is why they don't have the profit either. That's just lies on top of lies on top of lies.
I don't understand why, because ESPN, who we work for, also part of the Disney thing, they came in and swooped in and said, oh, okay, we're going to start to do this. I don't understand why they didn't say, and I know that there's a re-up coming.
There is.
But they should have kissed this deal by taking care of all of the WNBA and giving them enough money for a bump up, because you have another deal to make. But they should have sweetened that deal.
Let me just put it into context a little bit, because it does seem terribly unfair, right? The salary amount. I'm on the WNBA Board of Advocates.
Yeah, I know.
So we were working on this collective bargaining agreement. By the way, the new collective bargaining agreement that was signed in 2020 gave the players a 53% increase in salary.
So that's how
bad it was.
That part is true. It's still not uncommon for a WNBA player to make $40,000 per year. But when you have losses each year and you never make any money, how much do you really expect for them to be paid? They only play like 3-4 months out the year. They're playing less than half the games that the NBA is playing. We're not even going to talk about how the game is less exciting. I really wish they would stop trying to compare these women to the NBA. It makes no sense.
Now, in context, though, they also got better travel arrangements, because they were actually putting these very tall women in coach. They were sharing hotel rooms. They were riding terrible buses. So we came a long way from where we were. But the bottom line is, the NBA has been in existence for 50 more years than the WNBA. They do bring in more money. They bring in about, several $1 billion as opposed to several $1 million.
And let me tell you something about Sunny. She's a lawyer. In recent years, she's been doing work advocating for the WNBA. So I know that she knows they make no profit, they're losing money, and the NBA is subsidizing them. Now, why is it that Sunny won't educate her fellow co-host about this instead of allowing them and the audience to believe that these poor women are just being taken advantage of and they're not being treated equally and all this other rah-rah? Ask yourself, why won't she tell the truth?
But times have changed. We know that this college basketball game was viewed by more people than all the men's college basketball games. This tournament.
And then they keep talking about the viewership of the NCAA tournament. Please tell me how that's supposed to translate to the WNBA. How will the WNBA make money from the NCAA views?
Bigger than the overall. Oh, sorry, Sunny. It's bigger than the overall revenue. It's that 40% of NBA league revenues go to player salaries in the NBA. In the WNBA, they only put forth 10%.
Yeah.
So this isn't about they make billions, they make millions. This is a crappy deal.
That's what it is because
that
a
we
new
get.
person, a new group has come in and could have sweetened all of that.
They should
as
have,
a bump to the WNBA.
The money they're bringing in, the Fanatics sold more Clark jerseys in 1 hour after she was drafted than any other sport or player ever.
Yes.
Well,
that money,
and I think we're going to see a change. There's no question with the new collective bargaining
We'll
agreement.
see. Yeah,
I think we're
But
going to see a
the
change.
key is because the critics will say, well, it's the economics. They don't bring in as much revenue. But we learned from women's soccer that if you invest in promoting, in being on commercials, advertising, the viewers
Remember,
come.
there was no WNBA to watch.
Correct.
They
And
didn't film it. They didn't show it.
U.S. women's soccer ended up being more profitable than the men's team, and it took the league so long to catch up. If you invest in the players, in the merchandising, the viewers will
And
be
the
there.
advertisers don't pay the WNBA broadcast as much as they pay the NBA broadcast. But again, I think things are
ESPN
gonna
makes
change.
those deals. I've put a lot of this on ESPN because I feel like if you're going to go for a brand new thing and you're going to, because they're not making any money, so it's a good deal for you at the moment. You're going to have to come in and collective bargain late next year. But my feeling was, listen, when you took them on, you should have said, we can't pay everybody what they're getting, but we're going to give you a jump. And I think you still have time to do that because these numbers, and you didn't used to show the WNBA. Let's be honest, but you weren't interested in women's sports.
They were not. And can I just add?
No, you weren't interested in women's sports, Whoopi. And that goes for all of them sitting up there.
At this one thing,
Yeah,
this is
sure.
why Brittany Griner was in Russia and got detained for 10 months. Okay? Let's remember that. She was detained because a Russian team paid her $1 million a year. She just extended her contract with the WNBA for $150,000.
Maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene should move to Russia, make more money.
I don't know if she can play ball.
Okay.
And there's another one. Sunny said Britney was detained because a Russian team paid her $1 million per year. No, Brittany Griner was locked up in Russia because that big doofus tried to take an illegal substance through Russian airport security.
Use your common sense.
But see, this is why I can't take these feminists seriously. They constantly lie and then they're allowed to get on the airwaves and promote these lies to everybody. All these people whining and yelling, they do not support the league financially. They don't even support with their eyeballs. Watching the race-baiting NCAA games is not supporting the WNBA, which is the organization y'all are complaining about that's not paying the women the money that you want them to have. And then they're constantly trying to blame men, whether it's men at the corporations or in corporate media or men in the NBA. They're blaming men in general, especially sports fans. The answer to their issue is to blame all the men, when in reality, this is a female problem. If you want the WNBA to grow, women will have to support the league. They will have to buy season tickets. They will have to show up to their games. They will have to watch all of their games, not just the college level basketball where they pit a group of white girls up against a group of black girls and get the whole country fighting on Instagram and Twitter. Let's be real here because we have yet to see any of this NCAA support transfer to the WNBA, and I mean in numbers. Not in emotions, not in feelings, not in tweets, not on IG, not on daytime TV, in numbers, i.e. profits. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Let me know what you think about this below. Special thank you to William A. I appreciate you, William, for all of your support, as well as our brothers Dark Power and Harold. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.